folks, welcome back. Your phone calls coming up for the remainder of the segment. 877 Newsmax, 877-639-7629. I do want you to see the video. This guy, I think he's 18 or 19 years old, recently at the Trump rally in Las Vegas. This guy drove from California to Las Vegas. He went to a gun range the night before there he is getting escorted out of the Trump rally. He went to a gun range to practice on how to shoot a gun. He tried to take a cop's gun at the rally, and he told the cops he wanted to kill Donald Trump. Now, CNN has done this story, I'll admit that, but for crying out loud, I mean, let's stop for a second. And God forbid this had been Hillary Clinton, and some guy, had drove from one state to another to try to kill Hillary Clinton, got inside the rally and tried to grab a cop's gun, or Bernie Sanders. By now, we would know who that person was, who that person's grandmother was, what groups he belonged to, what party affiliation he or she has. We would know everything, and it would be a big story. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, because you know why? Trump egged him on, right, Andrea Mitchell? Isn't that what you said about the woman who got egged and was bleeding with the protesters? She kind of egged on the protesters, or Trump eggs on the protesters. Isn't that what you said after the riots in the streets in California? These people are sick, and this should be a huge deal. But everybody's shrugging. So he tried to grab a cop's gun and kill Trump. So what? When the guy rushed the stage, remember that? The day after the violence in Cleveland? I think it was Cleveland. Well, that was Trump's fault. He ticked these people off. You know what? How could you blame the Muslim terrorists? We must have got them angry, right? CNN runs a whole series. Why do they hate us? Why do they hate us? What could we do to make them like us? It's our fault. Something's very wrong. You know who has it right? Bibi Netanyahu. He has it right. If only he were president of the United States. Let's watch what he said about Orlando.
In Orlando, a terrorist walks into a nightclub and murders nearly 50 human beings. Sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, cut down in cold blood. They did nothing wrong. They were dancing with friends. They were enjoying music with loved ones. Why did the terrorists murder them? Because he was driven by a fanatical hatred. He targeted the LGBT community because he believed they were evil.
And it's not that he believed they were evil because he's just an average guy who, hated gays. No, President Obama, and Obama knows this, and Lynch knows this, and the FBI director knows this, who I don't blame, by the way. They all know this. Watch.
Now, the murderer wasn't alone. Regime and terrorist organizations around the world ruthlessly persecute the LGBT community. In Syria, ISIS throws gays off rooftops. In Iran, the regime hangs gays from cranes. Too many people have remained silent in the face of this awful persecution.
And in Saudi Arabia and elsewhere, Bahrain, and they punish, they kill gays, they stone gays, they lock gays up. And Hillary takes money from these countries. Do you hear the news media talking about it, folks? No, because Donald Trump once said blah, blah, blah. Donald Trump said Mexican. Woo! Hillary takes money. If Donald Trump took money from countries, okay, or did business in countries that killed gays, can you imagine? Can you imagine we are in a war with the media. Do you understand? You understand how important this is, how big this is, how huge this is? My son imitates Trump better than I could ever. This is a war. The media is shielding Hillary, who's under FBI investigation. There's another university, as Roger Stone alluded to. You don't hear about that in the media. There's the Clinton Foundation taking money from countries that finance terrorism, taking money from countries that kill gays, and the media couldn't care less. And the gay groups, the so-called gay civil rights groups, they're in bed with Hillary, and they couldn't care less that gays are killed and stoned and persecuted all over the world, the Muslim world. And Hillary takes money from those countries. They don't care. It's Christians' fault that gays are persecuted. That's right. That's what the gay groups will tell you. The gay human rights campaign, blah, 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 blah. Those groups, those phony, baloney groups. They don't care about what's going on. They care about politics. Netanyahu's not finished.
This week's shooting wasn't merely an attack on the LGBT community. It was an attack on all of us, on our common values of freedom and diversity and choice. Radical Islamist terror makes no distinction between shades of infidel. This week it was gays in Orlando. A few days before that it was Jews in Tel Aviv. Before that it was music fans in Paris, travelers in Brussels, Yazidis in Iraq, community workers in San Bernardino, Christians and journalists in Syria. All of us are targets.
Yeah, but it's because they don't have jobs, or because they're angry, or because we say radical Islam, or because Gitmo is opened, or because, as that Nye the science guy joke said, because there's no water on their farms. Whew. Okay, that's why all that happens all around the world.